Okay, let's get started. So we have a lot of announcements. Anyone who's interested in Portrait Studio, please, 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 please wait until the 1st of October to get it. There's a lot of people that always ask me for student discounts or because the money is too much, and I've always offered a promo code for those who contact me on Facebook saying that Portrait Studio is a bit too high for them. They love it as a resource and they would love to have it. And instead of going back and providing like a bajillion promo codes, I thought I should just do sales. And so now I'm doing sales, really, really big sales, almost 50% off starting October 1st, and will go on for 2 weeks. The price will go right back up afterwards. If there are some stragglers, please let me know if you like when your payment cycle is or something like that. Last time on my video, it was the last day, and someone said, please extend the sale till tomorrow. And I extended, and then two more people said, please, Istebrak, wait for the sale. And I had to extend it. So please let me know if the 2 weeks starting the 1st of October is enough for you guys. If for some reason you might need it to run longer, I would have to run it by Abu and see all the numbers and see where we are after the sale, if we can afford to run it for a longer period. But I'm just trying to make sure that we're as transparent as possible. I like being transparent with you guys. I'm like here telling you guys like you guys are my diary or something. So I want to make sure that everyone is treated fairly and that you guys have the sale for this resource. I don't like, putting it behind a paywall, but at the same time, we put a lot of our work into it, and whatever you give in always comes back to the community. So 2 really, really big Mama Jamma, which I will also add writing for soon, community challenges. Okay, the first community challenge is the Character Integration Design Challenge, and I already am seeing some really, really honorable mentions here. Challenge submissions. So we're already seeing some mood boards. We're already seeing some thumbnails for the pole vaulters. It's like I'm an art director and I'm finally seeing my image come to life. I love this one. I love the cavernous feel of the tree towering over. I love this really ritualistic type of waterfall that linked to a culture. I love this one and how tall everything feels. But you missed one really big thing, which I don't know. I feel like I should be not doing this. I am here after all. You guys are talking to me. I'm not some inaccessible teacher. If you guys want me to, I can allow a horizontal canvas if you guys feel like it'll really help you. This was supposed to be a vertical book cover type canvas, so I can change it right now so that it is not a vertical canvas mandatory. I mean, because the point is, I'm trying to make it so that you guys can have portfolio work and actually have finished work. And if I'm promoting that more people to attend by allowing a horizontal canvas, then it'll be an environment drawing. And it really is more environment, 70% more environment than character. The character is supposed to be really small. So this is wonderful ratio right here. I'm loving what I'm seeing. Be careful with this because the character is moving towards the left of the canvas and leading the eye away from all of this. This is way too empty. Bad framing. If this was a photograph, it means the photograph wasn't captured on time. Move him more towards the center, maybe somewhere here, somewhere off the bullseye center of the canvas, just something off the center a little bit. Okay, looking good. You guys are doing wonderfully. I really want to see a pole vault in action. I don't want standing characters with a pose. That's not what I'm going for. I don't know if this is for the challenge. I'm not asking for a character design turnaround. I'm not asking for a character standing up. I'm asking for a character in motion, pole vaulting across an ancient environment. And then finally, is there another? Oh yeah, the other challenge is the monster design challenge. So the creepy creature challenge, which I host every year around this time, in celebration of creepiness, because Halloween or whatever, and Satanistic, ritualistic, Illuminati, I don't know what. So for the creature design challenge, it is also a full illustration. No resource packs this time. I feel like even when I provide resource packs, no one listens to them. So I thought, you know what, as long as people have a blueprint and a brief, posted here permanently on the top of the page where they don't have to go and download it somewhere. It's written right there in front of them. More people will join. Yeah, you have, you have another illustration. It can be vertical, it can be horizontal, but The case with character and creature design challenges is that you have to implement them into their environment as well. So it's also one big theme between the two challenges, which is why I decided to run them both at the same time. Both have to do with combining the character with their environment. So that's what's going to be the theme of both critique hours. One is going to be at the end of October, and one is going to be around Halloween. So this one is going to be for the Halloween one, and probably Thursday, the 25th, is going to be the due date for I have to update a lot of stuff here in a second. Thursday is going to be the due date for the pole vaulting, and the 30th is going to be the due date for the creepy creature. Both are character, environment, and integration challenges. They both have to be fully completed illustrations. So this piece here, you have some issues understanding color zones. So the range of colors, the tonal changes, you're not picking these up. You are not picking them up, possibly because you're studying in grayscale, but the reference is colored. I know the reference is monochromatic. It's still colored, though. You need to start seeing so that you can transfer over the form language. This looks like my aunt, the aunt I really don't like. Okay, so let's sketch some stuff on top of this. Yeah, I need to delete today's session so that I can edit it out because I'm saying all kinds of shit today. Okay, so one thing that we can really do to help us see the contrast is something like this, where we're messing around with the zones. Okay, so see what's left behind? See that last little bit left behind? And so I'm just going to copy, go backward, and paste. So I raised darkness all the way down, raised contrast all the way up. And what that led us to reveal are these color zones. These are the areas where you actually get your blocking brush and block. You actually block with these areas. So I'm going to save this one. Save as desktop and JPEG. Watch me, I already have a file with that name. Okay, thank God. And I'm going to just leave this one alone. Oh crap, that one was supposed to be grayscaled. Alright, sorry, my bad. Son of a bitch. Alright, it's all good, it's all good. Everything's good. Merge down. A friend told me to pretend to be excited, and that way you curb anxiety. So I'm trying to do that a lot. Okay. So these are the two references I'm going to have open while I do your paint over. Okay, and they're going to help us decide where your values are going and whether or not you did it right. So apart from the fact that the features are basically all you focused on because you got that read, and the fact that the features are a little bit off, you aren't blocking in these regions. So everybody squint your eyes and look at this one right here and look back here. You can see that, you know, the areas that stay really bright are the elevations. See, that's all the light spots. Eureka! So what you're always supposed to do is block in the highlights, like based off the highest region down to the least high region, but it's still an altitude. And then obviously look at all the shadows or all the dark spots. Upper lip, lower lip, not upper lower lip, lower lip. The upper part looks up at the light. Look back here. You have none of that. I'm so sorry I'm clearing my throat a lot. I ate really fast before doing the class. So these are the things that are missing. All right, and I'm just following these trends. No fear. I'm just throwing these blocks in here. All right. So these are the issues that you guys have when you're working with reference. You're not actually capturing these tonal changes, and you're not grayscaling your references. So how the heck are you supposed to read it? You're too busy reading color. Color hides grayscale. Color hides value ranges. Write that back to me, please. Okay. I'm just looking at the questions. Never paint for free. She selected all portraits today. Yeah. No, I'm not black. It just looks like my aunt. So we should aim for a book cover. I'm gonna change it so that it can be a horizontal canvas. But yeah, let's focus. I will cover all of the questions from my announcements earlier towards the end of class, so please stick around for if you have any questions. And if you do have questions, just at me, at Istebrak, so I can see it. All right, so squinting our eyes, looking back at our reference here. This is a really great way to reference because you're really, really trapping in the success. You're really making sure that you are making choices and steps towards a successful representation of the form. Also, yeah, it's a big cube, and the sides of the cube get more light than the side that doesn't look at the light. And I think you overdid the bounce light because you are seeing that she doesn't really have a terminator line. I understand that it's not this extreme. We're not referencing this. We're using this as a guide. Don't reference this. The things aren't this black and this white. This is the reference. This is the guide to help tell you where the lines are between two completely different value ranges. Okay, so the top of the eyebrows, another light spot. Okay, so what are the light spots? What do I mean when I say the light spots of the face? It's just one word or two to describe them. Okay, so now I'm smudging. I'm just using my number 4 smudge brush, and I'm just brushing over. What I'm going to do in a second is catch up my brush with the completion level that I'm looking at. And the completion level I'm looking at needs soft brush now. Stay zoomed out. You can't pick up tonal changes if you're not zooming out. I mean, how are you going to do that? All right, now I'm going to use soft brush because I don't want to block with a black value because it's already such a complete painting. But if this was early, obviously I'd be blocking. So we've got one massive dark spot right here. You got a lot of dark spots you're ignoring, buddy. So I'm starting off with the terminator line, which is the center before things started to go into bounce light. And then I'm just gonna brush over top these trend lines here. Trend line meaning this line down and out are all darker values. I'm gonna try to focus all of today's session on this paint over, because there's a lot going on in this reference. Alright, I'm going to get the white. See how I'm pure white, but look at my opacity. It's very low. Okay, and I'm trying to capture those highlighted moments there. You also didn't capture likeness very well. The likeness that you're dealing with here is a very beautiful triangle. She's very, very beautiful. And here you kind of brought her eyes closer together and you're borrowing from the ogre template. Smudging again to catch up. I'm going to jump into filter and liquefy. So some of the reasons why, see, the thing is why students retaliate when I say likeness is off by saying, oh, I've seen faces like that before. That's not the point. The point is you don't know how to transfer likeness over. All right, I know you've seen faces like this, but bottom line is you don't know how to, it's not the same person. Well, we wanted the same person. We always want the same person as much as possible until you start designing. But you're studying. Studying is not designing. Write that back. So you have to follow what you see so that you can learn. Why else are you studying a photo? So I don't care if you've seen faces that look like the one in the before. The point was always that you are learning to capture. You're studying many aspects of this paint, from this study, from this photograph. One of them is learning to capture likeness, measuring, planning, picking up trend lines. She's very fierce, this lady. She actually also looks like someone I really like. So, like, I don't know, kind of like torn. Alright, mouth over there is kind of lifted. She's got more wideness in the eyes. Too much wideness. Let me lower the density. She's got a more squared face. Her face is much more squished. She's an angry girl. Okay. So before, after, completely different person in the before. And I want you to capture the person that we're going for. Okay, so now I'm going to just get the average values here. And just use my blocking brush to kind of just even them out. You see how we have this really defined edge right there? And I'm trying to find that bounce light. And that terminator is this dude. This line here. That's the terminator. It's traveling everywhere. That's why it's hard to pick it up. So it's right over here. Okay, that's the terminator line. That's the leftovers of the core shadow after the main light source shown on it. See this radial shading required of you for the corners of the mouth? Oh, she's smiling. Gotta fix that. The reason why sculptures are really great for photo referencing is because usually the artist also took shortcuts with detail, but they're doing really great likeness and form accuracy. So, and it's really easy to grayscale it because it's made of a material, not really skin. It's like some other material. All right, so I'm focusing now on the dark spots, which are on the eyes. See how zoomed out I am? Seriously, guys, if you're not zooming out like this, you're just sabotaging your process as you're going. Okay, the inside of the eyebrow hood is getting some light, and then the entire eye sockets, as a region, drop down towards the top. We get that triangle shape right there. Okay. One thing I'm going to do as a whole is go back to my geometric anatomy. I'm going to look at what I'm doing, pay attention. I'm on darken, 40% opacity. I'm darkening things radially towards the edge of the face. Because I'm shading right now, my patterns in my shading are as if I am shading a what? Can anyone guess? What did I just do? This might be a bit difficult. So what I said radial shading and I said geometric anatomy. What core shadow did I just locate? What am I pointing to? Okay, so we've got a little depression and then another bump. I'm just going to start smudging. This whole region right here, completely in light. This is the other side of that same temple, but on the other side. And I'm just blocking in a complete light in that area. See how much light is drowning in this entire side, all the way up until her turban or her headdress. A sphere, excellent. Core shadow of a sphere. Can we call it the Schwarzenegger? Schwarzenegger. Yes, we may. But I don't think people who come back into the study will know, into the classes will know what we're talking about, terminology-wise. Okay. So what we just did with the shadows is what helped us finalize the core geometry. behind her face. If you were to say she has a, what kind of face does she have? She has a round face. So now I'm blocking in smaller areas. Don't be scared when you're not detailing and things look a little bit too difficult to kind of read, and it's not clean and it's not perfect and it's not as nice as the art on art station, and your mind starts to talk and your ego starts to talk, and things are just, and you're like, fuck it, I'm detailing. Don't listen to that evil voice. Just focus on the geometric anatomy, because that will allow you to shrink your brush with safety. It'll allow you to shrink your brush without the fear that you're destroying every last little brush stroke that came before it. Because you know that the brush is reinforcing geometrically sound brush strokes, right? The geometrically sound, the geometric anatomy is telling you that you're making brush strokes that are geometrically sound. There you go. That makes no sense. Okay, so light cylinder stacking on another cylinder, throwing in a nice big block for the shadow. And this whole region, look at that. Look at that big white region. It's all lit up. And I ain't scared. I'm going to put like a whole block right there. Oh no, I just covered a bunch of detail. Doesn't matter. I'll get more from this block than I will from all that funny little detail that offered me nothing. Okay. Now I'm going to look at the Cupid's bow. The light goes all the way in. The cast shadow source is from the septum, not the nostril. Right, again, just looking at my reference here. The nostril is nice and outlined. And look at this. All my geometric anatomy stuff, all that big core shadow one that I did in front of you guys, all of that stuff has stabilized the painting. I don't feel like the painting is going to self-destruct. She's got more of a squint in her eye here. Another squint. She's got the inner corner light right there. Okay. She's got a couple of details, and I'm trying to fight my urge to do those little bumps and pieces there. I'm trying not to use those. Look at what this is saying. This is saying what this little section here says. It says it's safe to use a dark value in this area. She's old, and she has the laugh line that is developing into a wrinkle now. So this is telling me, hey, Istebrak, it's safe to use a core shadow value here, which is what I'm doing, or a degree of it. Another thing here is that the outline goes all the way around, but don't believe the hype, because this is not a highlighter. This is still a shadow color. It just looks like a highlighter in comparison to all those dark values. Top part of the lip curves down. The lip moves into a kind of a hole here. I need to fix her expression. Mine looks a little bit angry. What's new? Okay. And that moves down. So this is all the old age signatures here. And we have a bit of a brush stroke like that. Getting rid of this, whatever it is. It ended up here. It's taken away from the likeness. Her eyebrows kind of just disappear. A little bit of light there. Building up the cheeks, moving them in. Smudging. wrinkles and edges. See how I'm back to zooming out? My brush is jumping back and forth between hard, round. I mean, hard, round, yeah, right. Blocking, hard, squared brush, and soft brush. Right, and this is like a little bump, the same bump that we have here. And it just goes like that. Just got a little bit of light on the upper cheek. Now I'm using values that are very friendly for the shadowed half. Okay. And being very careful. And the pupils, the iris, sorry, is much bigger in the reference. You're just getting likeness points when you focus like this. Got a thicker lash line. Okay, for the eye sockets, really, really big deal. I've talked about the value of an eye socket before. I've told you guys the measure of an artist is in how they pull off and respect the eye socket. This is my opinion. Pay more respect to your eye sockets. And this means hard upper eyelid block. Alright, I'm going to keep it hard all the way around, but now we cast shadows on it. So the inside and the outside get shadows. And the upper lid gets a cast shadow. Her eyes are a lot more hooded than all that. And I'm just gonna draw out this cast shadow. Okay, brush didn't like that. I think that's the tablet PC, whatever. Okay. And then we have a top block for the eyebrows. She's got more open nostrils. Okay. And you see how you have like many values in this area? Now there is. You just need one value, which is the core shadow and the bounce light on top, which results in the Terminator. So see how I created the illusion of a Terminator, of a bounce light, just by introducing the Terminator? See, I don't do the Terminator accent like I would. Like, I'd really have to be like 2 hours into an after hours to try that. Just because it requires that I just loosen up a bit. But every time I do it, it's cringy. So this is why I haven't done an Arnold Schwarzenegger accent. It's really dumb and it's really cringy and it's probably my worst accent. Because I can't pull it off. My voice isn't strong enough. Okay. So I'm zooming out. Doing one last little review after zooming out. See where all my values are. It still doesn't look like her, but that's okay. It's closer anyways. Inner corner shadow. Inner corner shadow. And you can introduce the black as you go. You really don't need to have a crazy amount for the eye sockets. I'm slowly introducing that value. Again, not a crazy amount. Really, really low opacity, and I had an even lighter step in my transfer. And I have the eye socket now. Alright, treat your eye sockets with respect. Put some respect on your eye sockets. A lot of you forget that the eye is realistic in a painting because of the way the artist drew the eye socket. Alright, look at that difference. Look at how much read we just attained. I'm just going to smudge out some areas with my, I'm going to use my last smudge brush, which is the number 5 smudge brush. And I'm going to put it on like 1%. Alright, so this thing likes to cause damage. This is why I love it. But you have to lower the opacity, the strength all the way down. But look at what it does. It creates this beautiful, schmeckshy, gorgeous haze. Look at that. It's like a fuzz. It's like a softness. Alright, this is if I press hard. Right, you still have the stuff underneath, but there's this haze on top. It's almost like a Hollywood type bloom. And I don't use it a lot, definitely not on anything stronger than 1%. But you can use it on 100% if you wanted to. I mean, none of my smudge brushes are good on 100. No smudge brush is good on 100, so be careful with that mess. Okay, so now I'm bringing in the darkest darks that I can find. I did not start with the darkest area. That was my bad. I just started with this because I was impatient. It's just such a beautiful little area here. And the reason why I smudged before bringing in any black is that when I bring in the black, it'll have a nice bed of pre-black waiting for it. Do you understand? So it's not like I just suddenly brought contrast out of nowhere. I prepped the area. Just gonna go back to my number 4 on like 10%. This is where we start detailing. This is where we shrink our brush. This is where we zoom in. Look how zoomed in I am. I'm going to use a pencil, like a small pencil brush, and use that on the lip corners. These are the dark spots. What are the 6 dark spots again? I know this is an easy question for a lot of you, but I don't know, a lot of you don't have really good dark spots. So the basics will haunt you for the rest of your life. Like those Goosebumps episodes you were never supposed to watch as a kid. Like the one with the mommy and I will never look at Dalmatians, not Dalmatians, retrievers the same way again because I just remember that stupid retriever. Anyways, I think I've gone senile. Pupils, lip corners, nostrils. Remember though, the dark spots of the eyes are not our dark spot system, not just 2 dark spots. The crease is a dark spot. The eyebrows can be a dark spot. The pupil can be a dark spot. It's a dark spot system. All right, radial shading for the upper lip. What does that look like? Opacity all the way down, feed all the way up. Feed means the black. It's all the way up. So brush number 1, number 2, number 3. And I'm making the lip feel like it's hooded, like it's curved inward, like a crease. See that difference? The lip looks like it's curved like a cylinder. But I'm erasing away at the edge that it started off in because I'm not here to interrupt any values. Alright, see that? See that shit? Sorry, I'm really excited about radial shade. Before, after. Right. So, let's do last little reviews. Block. I'm gonna throw my brush all the way at 100. Block. Block. Like I'm not playing any games here with my blocking. Like that's why I did 100 because I'm not giving myself a chance to weasel out of some good blocks with like a 50% little opacity there. I'm serious about the fact that some of these edges need to be there. I'm gonna block this guy right here. See? Block that. So look at how much better things look when blocks are sharp. Block that shit. That's right. I should be sad Istebrak all the time because when I'm happy, I swear. Also, thank you everyone for your well wishes for what I've been going through lately. I've been very vocal about it because if I'm not, I think my head would explode. And like I said, you guys are like my diary. I tell you guys everything. Block. Look at that. That's the spherical dome of the forehead. Blocked. Look at that. We need a gift. We need some gift power over here. Somebody give me a gift. Somebody give me a gift to play on loop in the back. Just like blocked. Something that just embodies the block. I will play it. I just need a good one. Alright. Gonna block the other side. So see how I just added a big black block here? I'm gonna do the same thing but on the inversion right here. No problem. We all love you. Thank you. You guys are the best. Blocked. Just like that. Actually, there's a big old square. It's just like a big... Look at that thing. It's just guiding us. Don't be afraid to make this, okay? So how I made this thingy here, this helpful little assistant, is I went to Image, Adjustments, Brightness, Contrast, Use Legacy. This one all the way up, this one all the way down. And then I just stopped when I felt like I got what I needed. Okay? That's how I did it. Oh yeah. Whatever the background is in your reference, please do it on your version. Because there's an edge language going on and an exposure language that you're not picking up on. Like, see these edges here? Somebody send me a really good block. Blocked and loaded. Oops. Okay. So what I mean is the kind of black on her face right now is the kind that happens in a dark room. Because the bounce light just isn't allowing it. And now that I changed the background value, I can go in and figure out where the core shadow is now that I have that as a point of reference. All the black values here. This side is still way too bright. Look at that. And I didn't even go as black as the background. Now I'm going to get the background value on darken, lower opacity all the way down. Remember that sphere value that I did? With the radial shading? That's what I'm doing. I'm doing it everywhere. I need to show you guys something. Look at the difference between, which I'm going to swatch for you. Look at the difference between this value here. So this is this, and this, and this, and this guy. It's a whole, that's a very deep drop. Now look at it as the radial shade moves away from the light. So this is where the bounce light is coming in. Actually, look at this. This is the Terminator. This is what's left of the Terminator. Compare the Terminator, which is the average of this entire snout area past the bounce light, to the brightest area, or the brightest value in the region. That's a massive shift between this point and this point that you didn't understand. All you were doing was just gradients everywhere. You were just like, dark to light to dark to light, and if I do this enough, it'll look great. That's not how it works. You have to think of the general shape that was underneath, which was the sphere. The sphere is this. And this is the radial shading I'm talking about. Okay? And then you've got this, the general light right there. Okay? Yeah, you got some bounce light that confused you and kind of just messed with you a little bit, actually coming from the side. And then you had this coarse shadow Terminator left behind. But this is the equivalent of this, and this is what was guiding my brush. This value, again, if we swatch it, oops, is very different from this value, or the hot spot, which is right towards like this area. Right? Look at that tonal shift. But in your eyes and in the eyes of a beginner, this is just as white as that. So you didn't understand any of these differences, and you have to start understanding them. Okay, so save me some time. I'm just going to filter, sharpen, unsharp mask. So I can show off some more blocks. And then where the eyes are looking is completely different. So I'm just going to do liquefy now. The eyes are looking, also zoom out when you liquefy. The eyes are looking more up. Damn it. She's like, no, I will look forward. And that's the squint. Upward. Shift there. The eyebrows are more squared there. They kind of lean up and then they move straight. This nostril is more high. The lips are a bit bigger. They pinch on the sides. The upper lip is a little more full. I feel like our character is a derivative of her. And then we've got the missing lash line on the far side. We'll just compare the before and after. Of course there's a difference. You've already seen the difference if you're the artist watching. One really big thing I want to show you guys is to stay the same value across clustered core shadows. So what you're doing is you're grabbing this and just doing a lighten. Instead of letting gradients exist for too long. So what I usually like to do is do that. I like to have, even though they're coarse shadows, like really similar value ranges across clusters. Even if they vary, I like to accumulate them. Just like that. What that shows off is a bit more of a balanced understanding of your core shadows. Keep that in mind, please. When did I start digging around? Okay. And then completely zooming out. I'm going to completely zoom out on her as well. As much as possible anyway. You can see that the face is not wide enough, which I can fix with the eyes are not big enough. And there are some shadows clustering towards the inner corners of the eyes that I completely missed. There's that area here, and I wouldn't have seen that until I zoomed out. Me as your teacher, I wouldn't have seen that. Oops. So please respect your, no, I was repeating an old, write it back to me. Please zoom out. Okay, then there's the bounce light traveling down from her lips in this direction. That's bounce light though, so I gotta be super careful not to accidentally make it a highlighter. Okay. Sorry that today's class is a little bit monotone. It's just I have to describe every brushstroke as I make it. And there's the radial shading of the upper lip. And there's the gradual inner darkest value of the wrinkle. And then, guess what? Darken. Remember how I did a sweeping brushstroke for the dark shadows? Well, I'm going to do one for the Terminator. I'm also going to sneak in some nose shadows. Terminator travels all the way across any traces of the soft light of the core shadow, of the main light. Any traces of the core shadow. I feel like her neck is much thicker and there's just more shadow clusters down here. That's all light looking forward. So that's a very, very strong bounce light. Look at that. This whole area should be dark. Instead, we have a very bright bounce light just there. So that did kind of mess with you a little bit. Okay. So any questions at all, just ask, just do @Istebrak to ask me the questions. And there's that whole bounce light cluster, like just down here. See under her neck, there's just a big bounce light, and that's just coming off her chest. Kind of looks like her jaw is sagging on the left side. Yeah, the photo on our left, it's just because how she's turned, I think, or based off the reference the sculptor used. I'm gonna, again, because I'm zoomed out, I'm seeing all this. There's a really strong cluster of shadows here for the lower eyelids. You're an engaging teacher, so I really notice when you get quieter. Oh, okay, good. Lower eyelid crease. Crease here. Super dark line there. I'm just going back, and all these areas I just located, I'm just bringing back contrast. The best way to find your contrast is to zoom out. Sorry that I'm using a soft brush for the majority of the process though, because I do have to hurry up. But please take your time. An hour is not enough time, or less than an hour, or however long I've been painting for. You have to block in, right? So anybody fetch me a nice block GIF? Nobody? You're all useless. I'm joking. Okay, let's move on. Block. Maybe that's a bit too bright. I'll just use this one. Okay. Okay, still bright. I'm going to use this one. Blocked. Right? Like in b-ball. Oh god, cringe. Blocked. Alright. Each region that is indicated here, I'm blocking in. Because that soft brush has caused some damage. Okay. Some areas shine because it's clay, so some areas do a little bit of that. You see how I'm just letting my brush kind of do some stuff for me. And there's bounce light even in there. Isn't that crazy? Just right there. There's a cast shadow right here. The eyeball of the eyeball, like the ball of the eyeball, catches some light. Just there. There's so much to pick up from a reference. On that note, if you want to buy portrait studios, it's going to be on sale. Okay. Just getting that little area back. Getting this little inner corner out. Studies like these can feel daunting. I struggle with them. But if you follow your fundamentals, which guide the technical, the choices, technical process, you won't feel so at a loss for direction. Large to small, not just because it makes things easier, but because you get to capture the large brushstrokes that are caused by the geometric equivalent of each region, each feature. And that makes it so that you're not missing like these really, really important core shadows, and you're always pointing back to the light source. And it's in the most native way, like in the most larger brush strokes, you're still pointing back to the light source as the reason for all of this. And that makes you zoom out more, which makes blocking easier, which makes you see more details that you never would have seen if you hadn't zoomed out. Like all the way out, all the way to God mode, like out here is a great way to zoom out. Zooming out this far has shown me, yes, I have done well with my core shadow. But I still missed one right here. See that crap? I wouldn't have seen it. Right, and there's that dome finally kind of pinching in. Some stuff I make up, you know. And I guess the question for the student would be, when do I start bringing in my own shadows? When do I kind of do my own thing? When you feel like you've captured the structure, if you feel like adding a little detail here and there, a wrinkle or two where there shouldn't be one, but it still looks good, then do it. At the end of the day, you're the independent thinker behind all of this, so your instinct can sometimes make very wise choices for you. On top of this, blocked. Right, and that edge that we received after we blocked is a detail point. We just detailed because we just brought in an edge. And look how nice like these little trails of brush strokes look. I mean, you don't always have to polish the living hell out of your drawings. Istebrak. Sometimes you can just let your brush strokes sit there all nude, shameless. And they'll still, there's still an audience for that. Students love seeing the work. People love seeing the draftsmanship. All right, whenever you enlarge your brush, the instinct is to zoom out. Kind of looks like that actress from The Help. The one who said, "Eat my shit." Okay. Nice little brush stroke there. Nice little indication for the eyebrows there. Things are looking more and more realistic. Craig. Yes, he was a good singer and a dude sergeant. And a good sergeant as well. I get the young kids jokes. I am cool teacher. The jaw is kind of off on our left. Yeah. In the reference, or I'm sorry, I didn't see the answer. In the reference, or is a... Okay, we're almost done. I feel like we have a couple more areas that need to be defined core shadow wise and lighting wise. So I'm gonna figure this out here. I'm gonna do the top over there. Going back here, going back to this little lady right there. Okay, she's helping. I'm gonna do, look at this, color dodge, but all the way down to 3%. Don't get excited. And I'm just dodging. I'm gonna do multiply. And I'm just gonna multiply down here. Okay. And all these shadows are clustering down this way. Opacity's 3%. Remember that. I know you just saw me use dodge tool, but it's 3%. The painting. Oh, the painting. Okay. I'll flip the canvas. Flippity flip. No, it canceled all of my shortcuts. God damn it. Image. Flip canvas horizontally. Accept. Okay. Alright. So I need to flip her too. I don't really see a jaw problem. Because, look, the jaw ends here, but it ends here on the other side. So this and this is balanced, and this goes down. Do have a bit of a exposure problem just here. but I don't really see a jaw problem. Because I'm just doing what I'm seeing in the reference. We'll see. I mean, she seems like she should have even more of a droop. All the way down there, like a little turkey neck. Okay, darken. Okay. Oh, this is coming quick, everyone, to the nuclear bunker. I love the style where it's digital painting, but it looks acrylic. They mean the bounce light. It doesn't let me post GIFs where it starts at the ear is too low. The neck, yeah, maybe. I think maybe the neck is, but not the jawline, unless you guys are talking about the neck. The neck could do a little bit of that. It's just a small little detail. It shouldn't matter that much. I'm gonna fix the nostrils though. See that edge in the nostrils? Don't forget about that edge. It's a really big deal. She's got a bit of like a symbolic swell to her lower eyelid, which kind of makes the silhouette of the eye feel a little bit open, upward, just like that. But it's your choice how you want to transfer detail over. I think her eyes are a little bit too long. As soon as we square out the eyes, things look so realistic. Okay, so big jump from where it was before, but I hope the process kind of guided you along what I do. It's a very short amount of time to do this, so I'm sorry if there are mistakes, but it's very useful to think about it as none of your creative force is expected in a photo study. All you're expected to do is read, all right? Just read. Because apart from the features, which you didn't even capture as likeness, you didn't capture the geometric anatomy. So it means that right now a face is too complicated for you because you're trying to do math in Russian and you don't even know the Russian numbers from 1 to 10. Okay, that's basically what you're trying to do. And you need to not do that. I don't know if Russians do math with Russian numbers. I really don't know how things work in Russian, but I hope you get the analogy or the metaphor. So yeah, please make sure that you are understanding that there is a sphere that started first before the face, that the face is a building, a combination of many geometric shapes that help you locate core shadows, that everything goes back to the direction of the light source, that edges are detail and detail is edge work. It has nothing to do with the tiny little lines you did around the lips. Those did zero for the final read. They added nothing to your painting. When you focus a little bit more on your geometric anatomy, you start to pick up real life indications of light source. Again, mine looks completely different. Looks like a completely different lady. But it's okay. We got the sphere out. And then the bounce light. I didn't reintroduce that, did I? I'm not sure why my brush isn't going. Oh, okay. Alright. Forgot about that. Bounce light. That's a requirement. And we got back some extra little Terminator lines. Any questions? The head simplified into basic forms so you don't paint symbolically, yeah. If you don't paint, if you paint without thinking about the basic shapes, the basic build-up of shapes, a cylinder for the brow bone, cylinder for the lips, cylinder for, or sphere for the chin, sphere for the total head shape, you don't know what to do with your brush stroke. So when I'm telling you, hey, there's a thing out there that you can do that makes you know what to do with your brushstroke, you as someone who always doesn't know what to do with their brushstroke, wouldn't you just jump on that thing feet first? Anything that helps you identify and like accurately put down brushstrokes where they belong is something you should not let go of. And that's form studies. Always do your form studies. It's just your it's like exercise. You have to have it. Your body craves it like it craves cardio. You have to do your form studies, okay? Your brain needs to be reminded to find the cube and provide the core shadow associated with that cube or whatever other geometric anatomy is there. It always goes back to the cube though. For the pole vault challenge, does it have to be natural rock formations or can it be giant ruined stone towers and columns? It can be stone towers. Thank you, Antares. Blocked. Smart ass. Check out PureRef, free image software for managing digital references. Super handy. Yeah, check it out. Find the cube, be the core shadow or something. Always do your form studies. Yes. Any other questions? I'm looking for my name. Does she have a larger gap in between her lips and the nose than in the original, even if it's a masculine head? Yeah, she does have a pretty, bigger gap. Yeah, mine has a pretty close gap. Let me see that. Right there. Does it look more like her? Yeah, it does. Good call. Thank you. Okay, any more? Any more questions? Here's a GIF. Power up. Hey, are you talking about my hairline? For the pole vault challenge, does it have to be natural rock? Okay, I just saw that. Okay. I have to go eat now. Thank you for the stream. You're very welcome, Rebecca. Thank you, everyone, for joining. So to remind you guys that the sale for Portrait Studio is on the 1st. The 2 challenges are up. The monster challenge, the creature design challenge, creepy creature for Halloween. So go creepy, go crazy, you know, do some creepy shit. There's the scariest monster you've ever seen and put it in an environment that is associated with it as a habitat. And then there's the character environment integration challenge with the theme pole vaulting. So characters that pole vault across their environment, cultural ties, whatever you have to do to complete the storyline and the narrative, tie it together. Why are they pole vaulting? Is it for survival? Is it for fighting? Is it for both? Is it for hunting or all together? All the above, I mean. You know, you're designing the character, and by designing the character, you're making decisions on the environment at the same time. If it's a hot climate, they're using very, loose clothing. Or if it's a slippery environment, how have they customized the pole so that it doesn't slip? Have they put a little foot on it? Is the pole, religious in some way? Does it have religious representation on it, like ribbons or some kind of color? It's a full illustration. Those are the things that I'm looking for in detail. If you want to support, you can support on Patreon from Watcher all the way up to Apprentice, where you get exclusive content. There's a 3rd challenge going on for Apprentices. It's a character design challenge. It's really cool. Can't wait to see what you guys do. Thank you, everyone, for joining and all your well wishes. You guys are so sweet. I will see you guys on Tuesday, the 18th. Can't wait to see what you guys are uploading, and I might do an after hours tonight. So if you guys don't have the bell beside my name on my channel, on my YouTube channel homepage, if you don't have that bell and clicked on and activated, you won't get any notifications of when I go live. So if you've been meaning to catch a stream, you won't be able to if you don't have that notifications icon on. Thank you, everyone. I'll see you guys. Bye.